I'm Nathan Detweiler at the number 18 Quick 6 Street Stock at Full Throttle Motor Speedway, and you're watching ONTrack Weekly.
Hello everybody, Cam K back with you here for another episode of ONTrack Weekly on GeForce TV. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's dealing with the cold, dealing with the snow actually that came on back today. It's not normal that we get snow again here in the city, but we did. But today is another dedicated episode. We want to thank Nathan Detweiler for the intro for today. Got a couple other ones from Full Throttle Racers that we'll be using for future episodes. But this is our Full Throttle Motor Speedway week here on the show. So definitely glad to hear from those racers out at Full Throttle. If you are here in the chat, I do have Facebook pulled up, and I've got YouTube available as well, so I can see your comments. Very exciting to get this back on Facebook. That is really my big audience, is Facebook. A lot of people know us from the Stickers and Scuffs podcast, which is primarily on Facebook. But really great stuff. We'll get into the 2024 racing schedule that's taking place at Full Throttle this year. We'll take a look at the 2023 points. And then we'll take a look at the rosters that we've got so far that we've compiled, people that have notified us that they are going to come back. Obviously, lots of announcements still to come out for the racing season, but what I'm hoping is that those racers that are from Full Throttle can help me out, because there are some things that I did need clarification on. What we did last week with Sunset is we made sure to thank the partners that brought us the racing divisions. I had a little bit of trouble finding who was presenting the weekly racing, and that's very possible that it was up there and I didn't know where to look. But we will take a look at the point standings, and if anybody that races can shout out the partner that presented the racing divisions, that would be greatly appreciated, so we make sure we give them their appreciation. But we got a picture of Nathan's 2023 ride on the bottom of the screen there. You see right there that beautiful number 18. However, that's not what he's going to be doing in 2024. We'll get to our roster list a little bit later in the show and talk about what Nathan Detweiler is going to get into. But we'll get started here with Full Throttle Motor Speedway's 2024 race schedule, and let's take a quick look at that. We'll move this over a little bit. All right, so get rid of my ugly mug there a little bit. Opening night for our Full Throttle racing schedule. And you know, it's not just that it's Full Throttle's opening night that I'm excited, but it's that they got a full card on their opening night too. Junior late models, mini trucks, who I mean, one of those series, man, definitely got to check out those mini trucks. They rocket around that racetrack. And we were talking about this. We've had a couple of mini truck drivers on our SNS podcast recently. Keisha Zimick, most recently McKenna Robson. We've had Austin Arnell, and we've had Mason Culver. And it really, it looks, I think, a little. You wouldn't think that they go that fast. But then you see them, and they're motoring around that little racetrack, and I guess you don't notice until they crash. And unfortunately, that is what we saw. We saw a big wreck, and it was insane how fast they're going around that little racetrack there. But you got them, the Thunder Trucks, be back, fun stocks, mini stocks, and of course, how can you forget the Crazy Trains? There's a video circulating. Make sure you check it out. It's Rick Mercer. If you don't remember Rick Mercer from the Rick Mercer Report on CBC, he's out there and he participates in a Crazy Train video, Crazy Train event at Varney, and it's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's the type of promotion that we really need for racing. Is Big Nine promotion from shows like that. Then we got the following week. And again, the one thing that you're seeing here is a big difference between Varney and Sunset. Sunset start time at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock here for Varney. Pro Sprints make their season debut on May 11th. Mini stocks, street stocks, fun stocks. And then the big kind of news that took place this off-season, Ontario Late Model Association formed. It's a place for late model racers to participate, and they've got a good amount of cars, it appears so far, interested in drivers being part of that series, racing at Varney. Right now it is 6 races at Varney only, but there's potential to grow. And, you know, like we talked about before, the APC, that's your premier late model series in all of Ontario. You've got the guys that maybe can't do that series. They've got cars that are really old and they don't have anywhere to race them. So this is a great alternative. Obviously, you have weekly racing that was taking place last year, but now they've come in with this Ontario Late Model Association. We'll look in a little bit into the drivers that have already committed. They're really good at posting roster and registration announcements. So we'll take a look at that. May 18th, fireworks, junior late model, mini trucks, thunder trucks, fun stocks, street stocks, and crazy trains. Now, what I really like is when they do special events. We talked about this with Sunset last week about special events. Well, May 19th, on a Sunday, you have a 200, this is insane to hear, 200 lap enduro race with junior late models, mini trucks, thunder trucks, and mini stocks. What I really love is when racetracks put the junior late model guys and gals on the big stage with a big event like this. That's what you want to do. Showcase the kids, put them on a grand stage like this. Excellent thing to do. Sam Moore also brings up the Ontario Sportsman Series, presenting partner now for the junior late models, which is absolutely wicked. Absolutely wicked that the Ontario Sportsman Series is going to partner with Full Throttle and present the Kids of the Future racing at Varney. Now, the first fan appreciation night, May 25th, and you'll see it is their autograph night. And you've got Pro Sprints, Fun Stocks, Mini Stocks, Street Stocks, and the Hot Rods make their debut for the season. Hopefully we get a couple more Hot Rods out at the track. I think that one of the things that they could definitely benefit from was a couple more cars. I think they only ended up getting 5 or 6 towards the end of the year, but based off of Full Throttle's posts, they've got a lot of interest and a lot of registrations for 2024. So this is a great start. Then you go to let's go to June 1st with the Can-Am Midget Series, and then of course a series close to my heart, the Ontario Sportsman Series, back for 100 laps. It's always crazy when the OSS goes there. Last year, Corey McAllister put on a great show and got the victory for the first race, and then Tim Tolton got his third Ontario Sportsman Series win as he was able to hold off a hard-charging field. And Ollie Ferguson actually was a great piece of the show there. It was him coming from the back, running the high side. Great fun. And then Corey McAllister cut a tire, had to go to the pits, then came back out and had to storm through the field, finish 4th. It was a great show, and Ontario Sportsman always gets treated like royalty when they head to Full Throttle. Then you got June 8th, Pro Challenge makes their return. I love seeing the Pro Challenge is another one of those series where they're good-looking race cars and getting to rock it around Full Throttle Motor Speedway. Pro Sprints, Fun Stocks, Mini Stocks, Street Stocks, and Hot Rods. And then we've got another Fan Appreciation Night on June 15th. Of course, what's nice about Fan Appreciation, mix it up. They have different classes each time you've got one. You got Junior Late Models, Mini Trucks, Thunder Trucks, Street Stocks, Ontario Late Model, and of course the Crazy Trains. Then it's Military Night on June 22nd with the Pro Sprints, Fun Stocks, Mini Stocks, Street Stocks, and the Hot Rods. Chalmers Fuels Night with fireworks for the Junior Late Models, Mini Stocks, Thunder Trucks, Street Stocks, Fun Stocks, and Crazy Trains on June 29th. But with that, of course, you've got on June 30th. That's another one of those 200-lap enduro races. Thunder Trucks, Mini Stocks, and the Crazy Trains also a part of that big race weekend. That's what I love. You got so much racing at Full Throttle this year with the 29th and the 30th also giving us. And they've got a lot of back-to-backs this year, which is great. Great stuff. Come down there for the weekend, celebrate, catch as much racing as you possibly can. That's the way to go about it. Then we've got your Pro Sprints, Fun Stocks, Mini Stocks, Street Stocks, Hot Rods, and then Ontario Late Model Association. Christmas in July on July 13th. Fan Appreciation Night, autograph session once again. This is when the Oscar Hot Rods and the Oscar Modifieds come into town. And again, love this idea. Bring those junior late models and add them to a big show like Oscar Hot Rods and Modifieds, Mini Trucks, and Thunder Trucks. That's a very stacked night, actually. I really like that. Camping, as Nathan Detweiler says, lots of camping there. That's the time to do it. And Christmas in July, that's a really nice schedule right there. I like that night for sure. July 20th, Pro Challenge. This is a key one. Great Lakes Legends and it's not Canadian Legends anymore. It's the Ontario Legends Series. Pro Sprints, Fun Stocks, Mini Stocks, and Street Stocks. Again, pack as much as you can into a good race night. That's on July 20th. July 27th, Junior Late Models, Mini Trucks, Thunder Trucks, Fun Stocks, Hot Rods, and Crazy Trains. Of course, if there's any presenting partners for these divisions, please let me know in the comments. I want to make sure that those are recognized. We continue on into August 3rd, Fireworks and Bailey's Repair Services Night. Pro Sprints, Fun Stock, Mini Stocks, Street Stocks, and Ontario Late Model Association with the Crazy Trains. You've got the 200-lapper, so again, August 3rd and 4th. Again, another back-to-back, another 200-lap enduro race, Pro Sprints, Street Stocks, and Hot Rods. Then, August 10th, Ontario Sportsman Series returns. Now, this is on their second half of the season, so they're in the midst of their championship battle. They will only have a couple races left to end their season. It is always crazy for the Ontario Sportsman Series. The Outlaw Midgets, they make their return to Varney as well. Junior Late Models, Mini Trucks, and Thunder Trucks. And how about this? Another Fan Appreciation Autograph Night, Equipment Ontario Night, Pro Sprints, Fun Stocks, Mini Stocks, Street Stocks, and Crazy Trains. August 24th, Junior Late Models, Mini Trucks, Thunder Trucks, Fun Stocks, Crazy Trains. Fireworks, again, on August 31st, you got another back-to-back. This is another great event. You've got the Great Lakes Legends Series. They're coming in. This is, again, 2 days straight of Great Lakes Legends racing at Varney. Gotta love that. Pro Sprints, Fun Stocks, Mini Stocks, and Hot Rods. Add in another enduro to that. Somebody could be coming out here with a really big payday if they come through and can win all of these enduros. Now we get to September 7th. This is Promoters Memorial Night. Junior Late Models, Mini Trucks, Thunder Trucks, Fun Stocks, Ontario Late Models, and Crazy Trains. Then you've got September 14th, Racers Memorial Night. This is a great thing for them. Corey Eccles, Fun Stock Memorial, the Dave Wilson Mini Stock Memorial, Super Dave Gray Sr., Street Stock Memorial, Pro Sprints, and Hot Rods. A very classy move there for Full Throttle once again. You've got September 21st, Fireworks and Championship Night, Junior Late Models, Mini Trucks, Thunder Trucks, and Ontario Late Model Association with Crazy Trains. Now, September 21st is the regular night of racing there for championship night, but they do, and this is what I like tracks that do this, putting September 21st, that is the rain date, is the 22nd. They do the same thing here. Championship night for the rest of the classes on September 28th for Pro Sprints, Fun Stocks, Mini Stocks, Straight Stocks, and Hot Rods, and their rain date for the championship night will be the 29th. This is what I want to see. I'd like to see stuff where they've already said, if it rains out on that Saturday, we're going to run Sunday. It's already decided. There's no question about it. Great decision here for Full Throttle. Greg Duncan says, I'm excited for the Corey Eccles Memorial. I'll definitely be there again for it this year. That's what we want to see. We want to see as many people come out for the big events. Obviously, championship complications can be a reason why people may not come out to the races. The racing elsewhere, battling for championships. But when you have big events like this, Memorial Nights especially, it means something. And I'm not as familiar with Full Throttle as I am with Sunset, but I like that they're doing this. This is a good decision. Anytime you do something where you're remembering those racers, I think that the schedule, once again, it is jam-packed. This is a packed schedule. Not really a ton of wiggle room here. Now, what's really good, again, is that you do have your late start time. So hopefully, if you do have any sort of issues, you can either maybe push stuff up, cut some of the heat races down, get out there. I for one of the highlights I find really, there's a lot of highlights at Full Throttle, but for me, obviously, I absolutely love the mini trucks. I think that they're a hoot and they're a lot of fun, and those guys and gals go nuts. Obviously, I'm a mini stock guy, but I'm really curious to see about the Ontario Late Model Association. A lot older race cars, not what you see in the APC series, not at all. Let's just put it out there. These cars are not going to be what you see in the APC series. These cars are old, they're weathered, but these are guys and gals that have race cars that want to see them run, and they can now race. And we'll get to some of the names that we have heard. But I also want to say that there's other series in here that I absolutely definitely want to see. And Fun Stocks here, my good buddy Graydon Bunn got in here and raced a Fun Stock for Black Magic Racing and absolutely fell in love with it. It is a packed little racetrack, and I think that's what people maybe underestimate about Varney is there is a skill level here that you don't have at a lot of other tracks. It's so tiny, and the room for error is really kind of nothing. Like, you can't really make a lot of mistakes. You want to make sure that you make it through the night, and especially when you've got some of these back-to-back nights. And that's the thing that a lot of these divisions are going to have to be careful about. So I'm saying you've got, like, for example, Crazy Trains or Thunder Trucks. You've got to go back-to-back junior late models. I think everybody at least has one or two back-to-backs, and you got to be careful. Thank you, Brian Wilson, who invites me to their pits. It is a distance for me to get to, and because of the late start time, it is not really doable for myself. However, thanks to some amazing people like Pedal Power, hopefully we'll get a couple more people that are taking videos next year. I think Varney would really do well with having somebody. I know Katie McDonald, I think Katie's photography, she did videos for quite a bit. I've been watching a bunch of old races there. So even if you can't make it to the race, I think Vale Nation always has some of the races. Definitely make sure and you follow some of the race teams, because they do a great job promoting their racetrack. And I look at this schedule here, and it was shared 120 times. So definitely a lot of great race fans at Varney. Paul and Tim, Paul Trapani, team owner or track owner, and Tim Tolton definitely do a great job. And we're going to take a look quickly right now. We said Nathan Detweiler said NA Racing is going to make sure the races are recorded as much as possible. That's great. For a lot of us. I mean, there's a big debate around whether or not recording races is a good or a bad thing. For me, I found that seeing races on television makes me want to see it more and want to see it live, especially the mini trucks. After watching a couple of those races on online and watching even the live stream last year that we had of Graydon racing in the fun stocks, if it was, it's definitely a lot busier than I think a lot of other tracks, right? Like I find it like Delaware, you can get spread out. Sunset, you can go really high, you could go really low. You kind of got 3 lanes to go through. Whereas Varney, there's no getting out of anything. You are all in one big bunch all the time. So I mean, there was a race finish last year with Nathan Detweiler, I believe, ended up sideways across the start finish line. Whether it was not last year or maybe the year before, but there's lots of exciting stuff that happens there. Hey, Jeff Rumble, one of my favorite names in racing, has tuned in. Yep. Nathan Detweiler confirms that Vale Nation also covers the trains, Thunder Trucks, and Junior Lades very well. And that's what we want to see. So Vale Nation, I've actually followed them quite a bit. That's Jason Vale and Emma and Ali Vale, who all part of that team. Jason is the man when it comes to the Thunder Trucks. And Ali and Emma, I believe, just came off of... we'll go into their point standings, but represent Ladies of the Oval. April Wilson is also confirmed. Lots of photos from Wilson's photography this year at the racetrack. And that's obviously why we have a show like this, because of those photographers, because of those videographers. It allows somebody like myself, who literally ingests racing all the time, and all off season I'm researching or rewatching stuff. I'm rewatching stuff on GeForce from 2021 right now. So that helps us in trying to promote racers, and we'll get into the point standings. So this is the opportunity for those who are a part of the Full Throttle racing community to let me know if there are partners who represent these racing divisions. If it's not going to be covered, I'm hoping that whoever runs it, just throwing it out there, that maybe that's something that you could add, because I would love to be able to make sure I mention the partners that represent the class. We know Ontario Sportsman and ImageWraps.ca have come on board for 2024. ImageWraps.ca for the Pro Sprints, and the Ontario Sportsman Series for the Junior Late Models. But for the other divisions from last year, I'd love to be able to shout them out. So April's in here. She knows everything about Full Throttle Motor Speedway. Nathan, Jeff Rumble. So if you guys have partners for those divisions that you can shout out, just let me know, and I will try to make sure that I mention them. So let's head over to our 2023 Full Throttle point standings. Now, this is all I could gather on the website. It didn't say final. It just said as of, I believe, their final race dates. So if there's anything incorrect here, I apologize, but I can go off of what I've got. So Full Throttle points. Wow, that's really big. Let me make that a little bit smaller. I just want to make sure that people can see. So we've got, we're going to move myself out of the way here. We don't need to see me. All right, Full Throttle. Pro Sprints, Adrian Kemps was the 2023 champion over Brent Kemps. Sean High, Ryan Brown, Lenny High, David Linden Schmidt, 6th in the points. Ryan Batalana, Tim High, a lot of highs in the championship. Ryan Wardell, Calvin Warren, Tyler Cullen, Lisa Hamacher, Logan Chapman, and Gary Butler. Logan Chapman going to be part of the SNS Racing family in 2024 in the Pro Sprints, so that's going to be our first representation there. I'll admit I don't know a ton about Pro Sprints. They look very similar to midget cars. I'm probably wrong that they're probably not much at all like them, but I know Grand Bend has the junior sprints, so I believe it's just basically the faster version of those. No pops, no hat dance tonight for me. I don't have other hats here, and even this one, as you can see, it's dusty. I need to get one of those. I need to get a lint roller. We got to get some more hats up in here. Yeah, that's definitely for sure, though. All right, Junior Late Models, and this is a name that I think people are going to be watching, because he is definitely somebody that you're going to need to be watching in the future, because the way that he's come on in the Junior Late Models and now the mini trucks, Del Freiberger is the name that I kept hearing last year from Full Throttle. All the time, mind you, I heard about Del Freiberger. So he come up, win the championship in the Junior Late Model Series. I've already seen him win. I believe he's already won some mini truck events. I could be wrong about that, but Del Freiberger definitely out there. I believe he ran at Grand Bend as well in their mini truck division. So Del's definitely the kid of the future. You got Caleb McConnell. I believe he's the son of Brandon McConnell. Second, Emma and Ali Vale split the points for third. Another kid that I saw a lot about, Grayson Mason, as well. I believe there's going to be a good future for him. Bentley Weber, fifth in the point standings. Alyssa Brunette in sixth. Then the Tolton brothers, Chase and Landon, in the 13 and the 15. Cohen Newman, Landon Struck, Callum Lawton, Ronnie Mason, who I believe is actually going over to Sunset for 2024. Malachi Busnick and Judah Busnick. Ethan Mallon, Dave Hastings, and then we just have a team that says Dad's Race Team. So I'm not sure if there was a various amount of different racers in that number 15, but the Junior Late Models, again, lots of good kids in this series here. Curious where and where people are going to be heading. I know that the Tolton's cars looked like they were for sale, so I don't know if they're done in the Junior Late Models or if they're moving up to a different division. Hard to say, but nice various amount. You got 17, 16 odd cars throughout the entire season, and now Ontario Sportsman Series is going to come in and partner up with the Junior Late Models. So we'll see who's back for 2024 and see how they do. So Junior Late Models out at Full Throttle. Now we get to the division that was very hotly contested all season, the mini truck division. And before we go much further here, Mason Culver did something that not a lot of people can say they did. Now, Carson Nagy did this last year, but Mason Culver won 2 championships at 2 different racetracks in the same type of car, just like Carson Nagy. So let's not forget about Mason Culver here. Carson Nagy, Quick Wick Superstock champion and Delaware Superstock champion. Mason Culver, mini truck champion at Full Throttle and Grand Bend, did a great thing. However, the champ is moving on. It does not appear that he's going to be back in the mini trucks in 2024. Keisha Zimick just had an episode on the Stickers and Scuffs podcast last week, so make sure you go and check that one out. Keisha did a great job. Learned a lot about the mini truck division out at Full Throttle. And 2 of the guys that she said you should be watching for in 2024, Carson and Hayden Sim, are 2 of the names that she talked about. Del Freiberger in 5th. I think he's somebody else that you're going to be watching. Zach and Jack Quenville, Terry Weber, McKenna Robson, and Bubba Brown. That's the best name out there. Owen Corriveau, Quinn Getz, Eden Robson, Rick Baskett, Austin Brown, Alex Corriveau, Caleb Getz, Blake Neer, Taylor Weber, and Dylan Graham. So a very solid list of mini truck drivers, but one that is going to change quite a bit this year. I mean, as far as we know, like we said, the champ not being back, I don't believe McKenna Robson is also going to be back. So there's going to be some changes happening in this division. So hopefully we'll see some new faces come in and step into that position. Is Keisha Zimick in the position to win the championship this year? Obviously, she was pretty close. And then you got the Sims. You got the Quenvilles as well, so you got the Getz as well. I think Getz as well, Caleb and Quinn is also people that she talked about. Now, this is obviously, I also just want to make a point. I did get the spelling off the website, so I hope I'm not butchering people's names. If it's supposed to be Getz or if it's Gertz, because I believe I thought I saw somewhere that it was spelled Goertz. So I'm not sure if somebody can confirm that, but either way, those are people that we want to see out at the racetrack. Fun Stocks. Well, I'm sure he was waiting for this moment. Nathan Detweiler, our intro for tonight. Nathan Detweiler, your champion in the number 18 over Dustin Johnston. Tatum Green, Kyle Garreau, Jeff Rumble getting a 5th place in points. Peyton Lewis, Colin Gay, Donna Tolton. Now, Donna didn't run every single race. She did have other people race for her. Cooper Donaldson, 9th in points. 10th for Zach St. Ange. Austin Etzel, Kyle Fleming, Curtis Halliday, Daphne Sullivan, and Dave Francis, your top 15. Tyler Betts, Julia Boss, Steve Hubbs, Mike Etzel, Mark Merritt in 20th. Scott Tinsley in 21st, Brandon Zamet in 22nd, Jeremy Duguay in 23rd, Matt Clark, Jacob Booth. These are a lot of guys that were traveling as well. They were coming in here, like Brady Cox and Jacob Booth. Roy Merritt, Anthony Newman. We had Tyler Betts on here twice with a 10 and a 10T, so I'm not sure why that was, but is it pronounced like Gates? Okay. Thanks, Pops. I appreciate it. Rick Van Cleef, Ryan McNichol, Tanner Wheel. I think that might need to be Tyler Wheel because Tyler Wheel drives an 85 at Delaware. I'm not sure if that was just a spelling error. Bob Stewart, Glenn Schmidt, and Hannah Lamont. Hannah, of course, also runs at Delaware Speedway. But 35 different fun stocks out at Full Throttle. Nathan Detweiler, though, as far as we know, he's moving on as well. Champion is moving up a division. We'll talk about where he's going in a little bit. But a very solid group of cars. And I just want to get to Jeff Rumble's comment here, because he is in the chat. Jeff Rumble says, 2023 was my first year. 2023 was my first year running competitively, and I came in 5th in points and brought home most sportsmanlike as well. I mean, what other position would you like than being the most sportsmanlike driver? That's amazing. Obviously, everybody would say we want to be a champion, sure, but the respect level from competitors, if you're listed as the most sportsmanlike, that means something. And you gotta love it, being competitive. Not everybody gets the opportunity to run competitively in any division. So when you have seasons like that, obviously it makes it mean a little bit more. Pop says, how many cars make the feature? Nathan says, all of them. We average around 14, 15 cars a night. And then, of course, they had some of the specials. They had, I think, up to 40 cars at one point. Maybe not 40, but like 20. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the 40. I'm thinking of a 40 lapper, maybe. It was all due to my team, says Jeff Rumble. And that's really what it comes down to. Your team members, your partners, the people that help put you in the car, they're the ones that help get you to that start-finish line. So Nathan Detweiler coming home with the championship in 2023. And I'm curious to see, of course, the Fun Stocks, again, based off of their post, Full Throttle mentioned that there was a big interest, it looks like, in the Fun Stock division once again in 2024. So let's keep going, because we've got, what's nice about Full Throttle, they've got lots of divisions. Lots and lots of divisions. So let's go as we continue with the mini stocks. Now, I'm shamefully, I always get mini stocks, street stocks confused here, because they've got so many divisions here at Full Throttle. But Jeff says he's going to go for the championship this year. Well, now that you don't have Nathan out there battling the championship for you. Mini stock champion Mitch Wilkin over Jeremy Duguay. Dave Dipple in that number 18. Michael Peterson, Bob Stewart, Jared Jeffrey, Brian Wilson Jr., Jordan Wickens, Seth Jeffrey, and Brian Penny. Now, obviously, Brian is going to be making a switch to the trucks for 2024. Tom Eckensweiler, Brian Wilson Sr., Dustin Goodfellow, I believe, is also returning. Sandy Eccles, RJ Croteau, and the man who wins everything in a mini stock, Sean Taylor. Corey McAllister, Ontario Sportsman Series champ and Sunset Superstock champion for 2023. Of course, he's another double champion. Says, great speedway, one of the funnest bull rings. Absolutely. CGC needs to come on night off. Absolutely, CGC needs to come and run it. I think you guys, honestly, Pops, I think you guys would have a ton of fun out there. Pop says I need to try it, Corey. You and Tim will know any tips. Of course, they know some tips. They're Pops. But you know what you do? You bring both cars and put on a show. Have a lot of fun. You know, I think that would be fun. Hell, put Corey in the car. He'd do it. Put Nathan in the car. He'd do it too. Let's go to the street stock division. Mark King wins the championship over Mike Bailey, Lyle Lorenz, Drew Richardson, and then Ron Parsons. Ken Hayward, Luke Boss, Jim Ferrer, Tim Van Oostven, and Brad Pop. Unfortunately, this division did have a little bit of a struggle in terms of amount of vehicles that were in the street stock division. Although there hopefully will be an improvement on that for 2024. There's always yes, Sean Gay. You asked that do they still run Ontario Pro Challenge cars at Full Throttle? Yes, they will be back on the schedule this year. They are on the schedule at least once or twice for 2024. Street Stock's coming strong in 24. 15 registered already. That's already more than they got all of last season. So huge stuff here from Nathan Detweiler coming in strong with our info here. Now we get to probably the most dominant man at Full Throttle the last couple of years, and that's Jason Vale. I don't know if I've ever seen a guy dominate as much as Jason Vale has in these divisions. Jason, if you don't know, drives that beautiful number 18 truck in the Thunder Truck division. I feel like he wins almost every time I see him out there. I don't think I've seen really anybody else win aside from him. I believe Nathan may have mentioned he's undefeated in the Thunder Truck division. Now, what needs to happen is he needs to get a second truck out there and get the girls to come out and race him. Get his daughters to come and beat him. John Green in the 66, second. Luke Dipple in third. Seth Jeffrey. Adam Hartley in fifth. Brandon Weisius. Hank Boss. Tanner Holmes. David Tolton. Brian Penny, who Brian, I believe, is going to be back in that division this year. Steve Hubbs. Rick Bastian. Rob Vale. And Trevor Critchley. Again, what I like about this is it's not a typical truck series. You will have guys that run trucks that look like they came right off the street, and I love that. We got a couple more comments here, and Pop says only one of his cars would pass tech. Oh, okay. Unless I can grease the tech guy's hand. Well, I think that's Tim, so there you go. Rick Schwarzenberg. Nice to have you tuning in, Rich. We have 2 or 3 cars headed up there as many nights as we can. May not be a better track for fun stocks in the province. The Corey Eccles Memorial should be considered a crown jewel event for this division. Love to see it. And hopefully you get the recognition. Nathan says, I couldn't agree more, was a success this past year. That's great to hear. And I love hearing that you've got events becoming bigger and bigger and bigger each year. And speaking of big, we got to go to the hot rods. Always a great division. And what I love seeing is when you got guys that run in 2 different divisions and they win at their home division. And Matt Hopkins in his number 44 was champion last year over Thomas Wunsch, who I think is going to be somebody to watch this year. Trevor Critchley, Nathan Detweiler in the Black Magic Racing number 70. Travis Farrow, I believe Rob Wark may have sold that car. I believe he may have raffled it, so I don't know if he's got that anymore. Thomas Wunsch, number 47, most sportsmanlike and rookie of the year. So a big shout out. I think Thomas is in for a championship run in 24. He's definitely got it. He's a young racer who looks like he's got a lot of potential to do well. And how about one of my favorite cars in all of racing is the number 43 Richard Petty-esque Ed Peterson ride. Beautiful car. Absolutely beautiful. And I hope to see that car out in more Oscar Hot Rod and, of course, back at Full Throttle. Brian Wilson Sr. in the 14X. Billy Alderson. Dalen Martin. I don't know if that car is going to still be around. And Nick Clark there in 11th. Steve Book. Kyle Woods. Jason Ritchie. Bill Clark. And Luke Boss. Again, we were hoping a little bit more. A couple more hot rods for 24. But definitely love to see that. Nathan says Hoppy, which is a nickname for Hopkins. is one of the coolest dudes. He sounds like it. He's somebody that we're going to try and get on the podcast this year. But again, I love seeing the transition year to year. And like I said, I really think that Thomas Wunsch showed something last year and being very close to Matt Hopkins. And Hopkins has been doing it for a while. So Nathan Detweiler on that Studebaker number 70. Hopefully better season for the 70. I know they had a couple of years where a couple of races with bad luck. And we'd like to see if we got 5 to 6 hot rods a race, we're going to hope to try and get to 10. I know, again, they got the numbers out there. That's the one thing I probably should have had here, which was the numbers for what they had said registration numbers were so far. And that was prior to, I think it was prior to prior to now, obviously. So we'll have to see kind of what happens with their hot rod division. But Thomas Wunsch, as you said, most sportsmanlike and rookie of the year. So it's a good start to finish second in the championship. Crazy Trains, Delia is your champion. Your mom, here we go. The Fun Starts, Transformers, Unleash the Beast, and the Outlaws. I don't follow the Crazy Trains as much as it is racing, and I'm just I follow more or less the standard kind of forms of individual cars racing. But after watching the Rick Mercer clip, I might have to tune in just a little bit more. And they are crazy. We'll just say that. They are definitely crazy. Jeff Rumble says, I can't wait for this year. Well, Jeff Rumble brings up a good point when he says this year. And that is that we need to look into this year. So let's take a quick look. Now, somebody did ask about Pro Challenge. June 8th is Pro Challenge's first night. July 20th is their second night for Pro Challenge at Varney. Okay, so Pro Challenge is there. Nathan says, one hell of a class for entertainment. Definitely. All right, so let's head over. So this is who we've compiled. Now, there's going to be probably some names here that we haven't confirmed yet. Tim Reaper says 14 registered. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that might be for hot rods, which is a great number. So our full throttle divisions, this is what we've got so far. Now, there's a lot of numbers, and I didn't get Jeff added to this until I didn't get him added this. Unfortunately, so Jeff is, oh no, I do have him. Okay, never mind. All right, so this is who we've got so far. Now, there's obviously a lot more names to come, but I want to be respectful and only put posts up for who has actually posted that they're going to be out there or commented. I've put posts on my social media asking if people are going to these respective classes, and only if they've notified me that I've added their name. So far, Donna Tolton, Matt and Josh Clark in the 85 and the 83, going to be running fun stocks. Mini stocks, Cody Cook, Brian Wilson as well. The street stock division, who I've got so far, Andrea Clark, Nathan Detweiler, Dave, I think that should be Dave Francis, and I believe somebody has told me Davis, but I think it's Dave Francis. Jeff Rumble as well in the street stock division. Hot rods, you got Brian Wilson Jr., mini trucks, Del Freiberger, Keisha Zimick, Carson, and Hayden Sim. I don't have anybody listed so far for Thunder Trucks, but I'm pretty sure we can add Jason Vale and Brian Penny to that. Junior Lates, same. Don't have anybody just listed just yet. Pro Sprints, Logan Chapman. And then we are going to go, Jeff is Bone Stocks. Yeah, so I have him on the wrong spot there. Sorry about that, Jeff. Unless you're kicking Nathan out of his seat, I don't know. But we're going to go and take a quick look here now at the massive list so far of Ontario Late Model Association racers. Cody Cook, going to do that as well. Austin Finley, Matt Johnston, Jim Bowman, Michael Ford, Norm Stoddard, Nick Hamill, Mark Rugrock, Jason Ritchie, Ed Entwistle, Caden Wright, Nick Clark, and Jamie Jarvis. And so this is a good start. I mean, I personally wouldn't want to go too crazy with late models at Varney. We don't want to wreck a whole bunch of cars right off the start, but as of right now, that's who I have listed. That's who I've seen in their social media posts. I'm sure they've got more than that. There was somebody else that had been listed, but I believe he is no longer affiliated after some social media posts that he put out that were less than, I guess, they weren't the best, let's just say. But Austin Finley, Matt Johnston, and Caden Wright, I believe, are all coming from Sauble. So they'll do a couple more races out there. I know Cody Cook's been racing at Varney previously, and Mark Rugrock. Nick Hamill, I believe, as well. He might actually be from Sauble as well. Norm Stoddard ran a lot at Sunset last year. Jamie Jarvis. And Nick Clark. Now, Nick Clark is an interesting one, running mostly in the Oscar Hot Rod series of the past couple of seasons. And now is going to be running out in this OLMA series. And probably going to be somebody to watch for the championship for sure. Part-time is what I believe he's going to be doing for Oscar Hot Rods. And that's who I've got so far. Now, there's obviously a lot more names that have already registered. We'll let people come out and post. Ronald Parsons in Street Stocks is somebody else I believe we can expect to see in terms of confirming. And I think, again, we just add probably Jason Vale and Brian Penny to those Thunder Truck divisions. Nathan Detweiler probably knows a lot more about, and Jeff Rummel probably both know a lot more guys that are guys and gals that are confirmed to be running. It's so nice to have a series that you can see kind of their registration. Ronald Parsons and Mark King for sure, says Nathan Detweiler. That's probably for the Street Stocks. I know Ronald, I got confirmation today from somebody with his team. Mark, I haven't received it personally, but again, based off of the way that things went, I would think that Thomas Wunsch would probably be back. But again, when I look at the entire Full Throttle landscape, I think that there's still, for whatever reason, there is still some feelings, I guess, out there regarding Full Throttle. And I don't know why exactly. I mean, I think it's found its place. It's got people in the series. It's got people in a regular capacity that show and put on great races. And I'll tell you, what I've been told, and this is no joke here, is the fan base is rabid at Full Throttle. They love their racing. Absolutely, positively love it. Show tons of support for the racers. You actually got some of the racers that are showing up on the screen here. You got the champions from last year, Matt Hopkins, there showing up on the screen right to the right of me. And, with the more and more, Keisha Zimick as well, the more that we showcase racetracks, the more that we can promote racing. Doesn't matter where the racer is, what they race. The fact of the matter is they've got partners. They are going out and doing something that a lot of people may not do. And we're excited. We've got a good amount of people in these divisions, and I do want to see a bit more. Like we said, we've got a couple more. I'm going to just quickly head over to that Full Throttle post and see if they still have it up there, because I do want to get the numbers out, because I think that's very important. Of course, for a half mile, having people interested and wanting to be a part of things, that's important. And the more that you can bring attention to your racetrack, the more that you can have people show up. I mean, the crowds, they have a picture of the crowd, is phenomenal. And the fact is, you've got a kids club that they put together. Okay, so we've got December 28th. So December 28th. That's not even close to the start of the season. This were our numbers here. Street stocks. 14 already registered. Thunder trucks, we've got 9. Hopefully we can get to that 10, 11, 12. That would be great. Mini stocks, 10. I think mini stocks is something else. Probably try and get some guys traveling in. This is where it gets crazy. 25 fun stocks already registered as of December. 25. Pro Sprint, you've got 12. Solid already. Hot rods, you got 9. We could use a little bit more. It takes time, obviously, to get classes built up a little bit more. And Crazy Train staying at 6, that's probably fine. It's not like we're gonna have 30 Crazy Trains. I'd get a little crazy, but mini trucks 13 already, and junior late models 6. Now, hopefully, we can get a little bit more of the junior late model crowd up there. 6 is a good size for junior lates, but hopefully we could get a couple more. Again, make it maybe 10. That's a good amount of kids that are going to be racing, and the crazy thing is that we've just started the off season. As crazy as it is to sound, like, we still have until May, and we've already got these numbers. 25 fun stocks is absolutely insane. So Andrea Clark, who's tuned in, she's really excited because she's gonna get back racing, and she's gonna try the street stocks. And I'm excited that I love to see people come on back and start racing and run whatever track they find fits them the best. And I think, obviously, with these numbers being what they were December 28th, there's still going to be a good amount, I would imagine, that are still going to register. And with the track ownership under, and this is what I've heard a lot of positive things about the way that the track is being run, the care that's being put into it, and the numbers don't lie. And to start off, if you get a weekly bone stock division, now it doesn't mean that you're going to get 25 cars each week, but if you can get a division that you have 15 regulars, it's like we talked about with OSS. Like, it's the same thing. If we can get that many on a regular basis, that's a solid amount to start. And of course, the Ontario Late Model Association as well. The Ontario Late Model Association is just starting out. And, I like having, I don't want to see cars that can't run. And whether or not all of these names are actually going to run, that's pretty much every place. Is that you'll have drivers that will say that they're going to register and just never actually make it out to the racetrack. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 already. That's a great starting point. Even if that's all what you have, all 6 races, start with that, and hopefully, maybe they can work together with Sauble and put something together, and Ontario Late Model Association then eventually does back and forths. This is a good starting point. The one thing that we don't want to do, though, is go out and have a season where a bunch of cars get destroyed and it creates nothing but chaos. Slow and steady growth, as Pops Campbell says. Slow and steady growth. We've talked about before, working together, make events, and that's why I like them doing races on Sundays, because all of a sudden now the guys and gals that are already racing on the Saturday can now show up on the Sunday and race. That's what you do. just like what we talked about at Sunset last week, running Sunset at 3 o'clock, 3 hours early. Hell, you could finish some of the features and have guys that'll book it down to Peterborough or to Flamborough and try and make the features there. We saw it last year a couple of times. So if you got guys and gals that'll work together here, you got tracks that'll work together, you can make events be big. Now, obviously for myself, I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to Full Throttle this year, not just because of the S&S Racing family, but because Graydon Bunn's going to be out there. He's going to do a couple of races, I believe, once again. And, you know, that was a thrilling experience for me and being able to see him. Obviously, the Ontario Sportsman Series running out there for 2 races always puts on a good show. Hopefully our car counts will look a little bit better. We're typically around 10, 11 cars for those events. So, but if you haven't already, make sure you get out there, go to Full Throttle Motor Speedway, check it out in Varney. You know, we've got names like we talked about, Nick Clark and Corey McAllister. I mean, these guys, this is their track, and there's no better advocate for Full Throttle than Corey McAllister. He talks about it all the time. And now you got guys, like we said, we've got Nathan Detweiler, who's going to be a big force out there. And all your champions last year, Pop says, Delaware proved that with Friday night racing, had guys at my home track on Saturday night. Do what others don't. So if you're going to lose out on some people being racing elsewhere on Saturday, then hell, run a Sunday event and now people can show up. They have 2 races instead of 1. I like it. Obviously, we'd like to be able to see a bit more counts week in and week out, but I love when you have the Oscar Hot Rods come on out there, and then you get your weekly Hot Rod guys racing against the Oscar Hot Rods, do something similar to what we see with Sunset, and you've got the Sunset Hot Rods versus the Oscar Hot Rods. Build like a little mini rivalry like that. I mean, that's what you do. I mean, it makes it a lot of fun, but I want to give some shout outs. There's been a lot of conversation tonight. Thomas Wunsch, April Wilson, Tim Reaper, obviously Jim Haynes always out here, Al Harris, Nathan Detweiler, Pops Campbell tuning in, Gordon McPherson, Wesley Shaw, Sean Gay, who else we got? Corey McAllister, Andrea Clark, Jeff Rumble, Rick Schwarzenberg. Let's see if I did get Brian Wilson. Anybody from Full Throttle, thank you for tuning in. You know, we obviously want to make sure that we cover every racetrack before we get to racing season. And Nathan Detweiler is going to basically be the one to end the episode here. And he's ending it with a great, oh, we got 2 comments here. Nathan Detweiler. Honestly, Full Throttle Speedway at Varney has made huge improvements, making this track amazing, and the crowds in the stands prove that. I mean, it's one of the best filled tracks that I see across Ontario, and that's a good thing. What you want is the short track weekly racing to be bringing in the crowds. That's what you want to see. And we'll end it up with the owner himself, Paul Trepanier. I like your podcast. Me as an owner will try hard to work with anybody. We need to rebuild grassroots racing. I am trying hard to focus on family-oriented racetrack here. I can't say that any better. That's what we want. Bring it. Make it a family. Have the respect amongst the competitors, fans, officials alike. Get those crowds coming in. Absolutely love it. Thank you all for tuning in for ONTrack Weekly. Thank you, Nathan Detweiler, for your entry for our intro. Definitely love it. Tim Reaper, Paul has done a good job. It has come a long way. So, Paul, make sure you get your props and take a bow because you deserve it as well. Don't let don't let that be forgotten. I think we want to make sure that people are thanks for the hard work they do. April Wilson, who's done an amazing job providing me with updates about the track. She'll be providing some photos as well for the S&S Racing Family 2024. Obviously, Jeff Rumble and Nathan Duttweiler for keeping us informed, and of course, Donna and Tim Tolton for all they do on a weekly basis. Thank you all for tuning in for ONTrack Weekly. We will be back next week with Peterborough Speedway. We really appreciate you tuning in. Have yourselves a great week, and we'll catch you all next episode.